Exercise 12-2. Mills Corporation acquired as a long-term investment $240 million of 6% bonds dated July 1st on July 1st, 2018. Company management has positive intent and ability to hold the bonds until maturity. This is the key information of telling us how to account for these bonds. When we purchase these bonds, and when the management has positive intent and ability to hold these bonds until maturity, we will account these bonds as held-to-maturity securities. The market interest rate yield was 4% for bonds of similar risk and maturity, so we will use 4% to account for interest revenue. Mills paid $280 million for the bonds, so the payment is the cash being debited and is the price for these bonds. The company will receive interest semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st. Therefore, we should calculate cash interest by 3% multiplied by face value to $40 million, and we will calculate interest revenue by 2% multiplied by the cash amount to $80 million. As a result of changing market conditions, the fair value of the bonds at December 31st, 2018 was $270 million. Because we treat these bonds as held-to-maturity securities, the fair value at the end of the year doesn't matter. Requirement 1 and 2 asks us to record the purchase of these bonds and the interest at the end of the year. Interest will depend on amortization table, since this problem doesn't tell us they account for interest using straight line method. So amortization table, we will use several columns. Cash interest, effective interest, the difference between cash interest and effective interest, and outstanding balance. They purchased these bonds on July 1st, 2018. So the outstanding balance is the amount they paid to buy the bonds, $280 million. The issuer will pay interest June 30th and December 31st every year. So the next interest payment date after July 1st will be December 31st. And they will pay face value and multiply by stated rate. Stated rate is 6%, but semi-annually, so 3% multiplied by face amount, $240 million. Effective interest will be market rate 2% multiplied by previous balance. And difference will be the larger number minus the smaller number. The face value of the bonds is $240, but we start with a higher than face value amount, $280. So we need to drop this balance to $240 after several years. Therefore, we will take previous balance minus the diff to find the new balance. So requirement 1, when we first purchase these bonds, we have an investment in bonds. For the face amount of these bonds, $240 million, and we paid by cash. And the cash amount we paid was $280 million. The difference needs a debit account to balance the entry, $40 million. Is it a discount or premium? We will name it based on issuer. Issuer issue a face amount of $240 million of bonds, but they receive cash of $280 million. So the issuer issued these bonds at premium. Then the buyer will call this difference as premiums as well. So we will debit premiums on bond investments. The next entry asks us to journalize interest on December 31st. Here we have cash received of $7.2 million. And we have interest revenue for $5.6 million. The difference is the amortized premium, $1.6 million. So we need the plugging on the credit side. Premium on bond investment for the difference, $1.6 million. The third requirement asks us at the end of 2018, how will we report these bond investments? Because we intend and able to hold these bonds until it matures. Fair value at the end of the year doesn't matter. We report these bonds at its amortized cost. So 278.4. Requirement 4 says, on January 2nd, 2019, we sold these bonds for $290 million. So we receive cash by selling these bonds. Cash debited by $290 million. And we need to get rid of the book value of these bonds. There are two elements for the book value of these bonds. One is the face value of the bonds, which was represented by investments on bonds. So we wrote off an asset called investment in bonds on the credit side at face amount $240 million. And then we need to write off the unamortized premiums for these bonds. Total premiums is the cash we paid, the issuer received, $280, and the face amount $240. So total premium was $40 million, and we have amortized $1.6 million of premium. So the unamortized premiums now is $38.4 million. So to retire those unamortized premiums, we put them on the credit side. So by these two accounts, we wrote off the book value of the investments. So far, my credit has $278.4 million. My debit has $290 million. I need a plugin on the credit side. And that credit plugin For sales situation, it's called gain on sale. And the plug-in will be $11.6 million.